Hey everybody, so time for today's weekly update, I guess. I don't know why I keep recording these things halfway through the week, like bits and clips, and then completely avoiding it all, scrapping it and starting from scratch outside, but, well, we're making progress. So, if you remember the last video, we trenched most of the trench, pretty much, for the electric conduit and cabling. Well, I'm happy to say, if I turn the camera around, it's not pretty, but we're getting there. So all the conduit has been placed in. Some of it has been buried finally. The trench was about 20 to 24 inches deep in pretty much every spot, so well within code there. Now I left this bit open originally because, if you remember, I didn't have that last 6 feet or so done. So that's what I've been doing today. Is you can see all my junk laying around, hand digging the rest of that trench down to 18 inches, and I did that just to make sure I had enough extra cable. So as you can see, that is actually run up through schedule 80 to come out of the ground, because that's a thing, and then into an expansion coupling, into our LB connector, and then we've got it laying around here. So that's a thing. And if I look in here, if I show you the get out of here, if I show you the run of the wire, you'll see we have plenty of room to get up onto the bus bar once this box is replaced. That's going to be a thing. I'll get back to more in that second. And it wouldn't be a trenching video if we didn't find yet another piece of scrap wire as I was digging. Crazy, right? So we did finish everything, trenching. Everything is running schedule 40 conduit under all the dirt. And I will say, I don't like digging in the dirt because I trenched everything out, I put everything in, and now look at all the big rocks in the bottom, or in the top rather. So that's going to be a pain in the butt when I go to do the rest. Now, coming to the other end, and again, there's still some more to fill in, but you can see we have our shed side. It's getting kind of compacted. So there we go. Now this block is just in there for the time being. The problem is that the box connector on the back side of this would not actually, without a hammer, I don't think, actually get fully seated. There's about a 1/16 of an inch gap inside the back of this LB in the box. So turns out, and then obviously because of the depth of the wall, it wouldn't even sit flush anyway. But as it turns out, this piece of plywood that I have scrap of is the perfect size to hold this perfect. So I'm going to get a couple more scraps of this for along the bottom, seal it for weatherproofing. I'll foam up that so it's sealed up for protection, and then I'll run some clamps onto these after they're screwed into the shed. So sealed, screwed, clamped, and then this sucker, I mean, it's not really going anywhere anyway. And again, expansion coupling. This is actually a different style than the old one, which is a little annoying to me. And I rather would have had this down a little bit farther, but since that doesn't really settle anyway, that extra 1.5 inch anyway is going to be plenty. So we'll come back inside the shed and I'll show you what I've done in here a little bit, for a little while anyway, because it's really hot out. So it's going to be warm in here. So again, parting the mess, but one of the things I got done is I did get the electric wired for the media panel. So now I have outlets down there. I haven't zip tied the bundle together yet, but that outlet is finally together and live, so it's completely self-sustained in the cabinet. No wires out the side anymore. Zip tied up the remainder of that, but I might have told you that already. And I did finally, if we walk over here, plug in our ends on these two internet cables, these two Cat 6s, which are now active. Now I traced them out using that fancy little tool thing, and hey, another coupler. I didn't know I had another one. So that's the thing. That's all working now. But you'll notice the only other thing I've done is I've turned the rig sideways, and that's on purpose. Wasn't like I got drifting and lost control. So I turned this sideways for one major reason, and that is because I completely spaced on having enough room in front of the electrical cabinet. You need to have 30 inches working space total in front. It doesn't have to be centered on the panel, but it needs to be there, and 36 inches out. Now, obviously, I have my laptop tray just sitting there, so this stuff has to move anyway. But I did need to move this out of the way. I basically brought it over as far as I dared to bring it before I lost purchase with the newing flooring, which is obviously not level, you can kind of tell. But anyway, I moved this out of the way, and maybe I'll do one of those time-lapse things like here. So that's now turned around. Which is fine. I mean, it doesn't matter. The other advantage to it is when I had the air conditioner out here to test it, see if it would do any different. It would actually blow on like the left side of my face a little bit, so it actually did almost work, but not quite. I have a giant piece of drop cloth, and the reason this board is back above my head is because I actually tried running the drop cloth over from the side, over my head and then down, like making it a little plastic bubble, like a room, like, you know, we saw in ET, to see if it would help contain the AC and therefore make it like a little cooler section over here for me to play in. Turns out no. There's so much heat in the rest of the shed that that little 4mm drop cloth did nothing. So yeah, that was 20 bucks well spent, but it was worth a shot. But it got really, really hot the beginning of this week, so that air conditioner went back into the bedroom because that's where I work, so that's a better idea. Everything else, though, is completely done. I have the panel back on here, so you can't see anything, but in the electric panel, now the wire is run. There's plenty of room for the cable runs there. And yeah, now you're all caught up. It's been a fairly short day, a week rather. Haven't gotten a lot done, other than freaking warm, man. It's really freaking warm. Yeah, other than basically just filling in bits and pieces of the trench when I had free time and wasn't dying. I haven't really done much with the haven't really done much this week. This has been a pretty big project though for what I'm doing. You wouldn't think that it would be, and maybe for a lot of people it wouldn't be, because it's just, oh, you know, you're just digging a trench, laying conduit, pulling pipe, or pulling wire through it, and then calling it good. But you know, when you're working full time and you don't get out of work until later in the evening and all these other things, well, it was a little bit of a bigger project for me. First time I've done anything like this from start to finish myself. So that's been kind of fun. What else? Yeah, that's been basically it. It's been a pretty productive week as far as that goes, but now I need to have an electrician come in and replace this box because the neutral bus bar got corrosion on it. I took a lot of video of that, but let me show you just because I'm here. So if you look up in there, you can see the ground wire is the green, and the 3 strands right next to it, those are the neutral wire, but you can see that those are a bit corroded. Thank you, aluminum. The rest of the stuff, like the bars down here, these are all fine, other than dirty and wasps and crap, but everything else is fine. It's just that bar. Now, I bought a whole new box. So my original plan was just to replace the bus bar, which is probably doable, but I don't want to die. So cooler heads have prevailed. My original thought was just unscrew it. It's only on the neutrals, so how bad could it be? Could it really be that thing? You know, take some precautions, rubber gloves and mat, blah, blah, blah. But since I did talk to my dad about it a little bit, and he said, you know, since I do have the brand new box anyway, just call an electrician, have him swap everything out brand new, and then I'm good to go. I mean, the only thing that would change that would be if the electrician comes out, takes a look, and says the bar is the only thing I need to change, so here you go. Then great. Here's a bar. Have at it. But otherwise, this will be all basically done, and then it's just a matter of waiting for the electrical inspector, or scheduling it rather, when I have the extra money to do it. But that's got to be after this is done. I don't want to have him come out, say, hey, everything else looks great, but until that's fixed, I can't pass you, so call me when it's done, and then charge me another $175 a second trip. So if I can get the electrician out here to fix that part first, then that's done, and then the electrical inspector, the only thing he has to do is to check out the shed, which again is done. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. I ordered extra conduit just to be on the safe side, and I have 1.5 pieces left, which is great. I did buy the Schedule 80 from Granger nearby. Had to go up Friday morning and pick that up, but now that's there for the above ground portion, which is again perfectly to code. So I'm happy. I didn't take any shortcuts. Everything's great. Other than, you know, trying to piece back together 20-year-old stuff behind me. I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. So I think I deserve a drink, and there's some cold water inside. So anyway, thanks for watching this week, and I guess I'll be back with the... Well, I'm not sure when the next update will be, since I'm on hold until the electrician gets here. So I guess I'll just have to find other stuff to do. But if I don't have anything else to do until then, I guess I'll see you the next time when I get here. Might not be for a while, but anyway, this one's done.